Sinai gives us kind of the paradigm of the word of Yahweh. So, particularly with the Ten Commandments. So the Ten Commandments, like if you go back to Exodus and you read that story carefully, the Ten Commandments are both spoken by God and written by God, right? So it's the
Right.
direct voice of God speaking the Ten Commandments, and then it says God wrote them with his own finger on the tablets of stone. And so this the concept in ancient Israelite society of the word of Yahweh coming to the people occurs. It's primarily spoken. It's spoken first, right, as it was at Mount Sinai. God speaks it first and then later writes it down. And this is the same thing in ancient Israelite culture. At least that's how the Old Testament presents it to us. That God chooses these certain people who are recognized as prophets. And this is when we get to Samuel, you'll see Samuel was special, right? Samuel was recognized as a prophet, an actual prophet of God, very early in life, even as a boy. Like the community recognized, oh, this guy is special. He's like communicating words of God. And so those people who are called prophets, right, as time goes on, they are writing things down, starting with Moses, right? Back in Exodus, it says Moses writes down what God's told him on the mountain. And some of these writings are recognized by the community as having special status, and then are collected in a book that they keep in the tabernacle or in the temple, that we believe or that we confess becomes the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible canon at some point. There's a lot of debate about as how that actually happened, but the way the narrative of the Old Testament describes itself to us is that God is speaking his words to certain people who are recognized as prophets. Sometimes these prophets are writing things down that they are hearing from God, and a certain number of these writings are being collected into this book that has it has a number of different titles. Sometimes it's called the Book of the Law. Sometimes it's called the Book of Moses. Sometimes it's called the Book of Yahweh. Sometimes it's called the Book of the Law of Yahweh. It has different titles, but the Hebrew Bible talks about a book, right? Like the ancient Israelites are gathering these texts into a book that then becomes what we call the Old Testament, right? That the New Testament refers to as scriptures, right? The writings. In Greek, it's graphe. The word it means writing. So like when the New Testament is talking about the Bible, it's that's the word, the writings.